Welcome to SKYPODCAST,
a Spotify exclusive.
Do you ever feel like there are some things that you deserve and some things that you don't deserve?
Right now, parang feeling ko mas calibrated ako ngayon. Dati,
way?
parang, I think that's when entitlement comes in. Like, you feel like, I deserve this certain thing. But, hindi ka pa dun sa level na yun. Like, I can imagine someone, like, say, for example, a fresh graduate asking for a crazy salary. And then, parang akala niya, sobrang galing na niya.
Kala niya self-worth.
Oo. Kasi dati, when we were younger, and I think this happens across the board to anyone, we know so little about the world that we feel like we know a lot.
I remember my first job interview. They ask you to write down on a piece of paper what your expected salary is.
Yes.
And I wrote down like a random, I think at the time it was 40,000 or 30,000 sinulat ko. Fresh grad, this was 10 years ago. As in, the interviewer, nagulat talaga siya. Like, she really asked me, are you sure about this? Is this your starting expected salary or a fresh graduate? Sabi ko talaga, honestly, I don't know what the going rate is. So I just wrote a random number that I thought made sense. Feeling ko a lot of people are like that also.
Yes, merong tawag niyan sa there's a scientific term for it. The less we know, the more we think we know.
Yeah.
Alam mo yung when we talk about, let's say for example, basketball. Ang dami nating masasabi if you were just like spectators. Dapat ganyan yan. Pero when you're actually the one in that, you're the player, you know more about it than any other person, like the strategies and everything. You start to realize that this is very, very complicated. And there's a lot of things that need to be considered.
That's why certain decisions are made na akala ng normal na tao.
Yes.
Bakit hindi ganito? Bakit ganyan?
Yes.
Diba? Because they only know so little. Di nila alam yung mga limitations at challenges.
So, I think...
entitlement yon if you think you deserve it.
Entitlement if you feel like, dapat para sa akin talaga to. Ganyan. And I feel like when we're younger, we're more prone to either overestimating it or underestimating it naman. As I get older, parang alam ko na yung value ko and I ask for that value. I tend to overestimate it a little bit because I feel like it's advantageous in a way na parang you parang
You negotiate for more than what you think you're worth.
yes, but not overly na parang laughing stock ka. Parang
Kunyari, kung level
reaching
10
out a
ka,
little bit. Yeah.
ito try mo yung level 11. Ganon.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I feel like that's a good way to push it. So after 11, okay.
And
feeling
also,
ko-
it challenges you to perform at an 11 when you're at a 10, if they grant you that 11.
Yes, also. Para sa akin, there has to be a certain level of confidence when it comes to working din naman. When this is working and like being confident in work. Like parang paminsan we need to fake it till we make it in a way.
Agree ako
But
dyan.
kailangan may foundations ka on like reputation, on
At least, you need to have a little bit of background. Hindi naman pwedeng fake it till you make it, pero wala ka talagang
Dire-diretso
alam.
lang, yes.
Mukha ka talagang tanga kung ganon.
Yes. And I think especially when I was younger, ang dami kong mga self-doubts, especially because I was always told na, oh, Slater, ang grabe ng potential mo, ang talino nito, ganyan. So parang, ang laki ng pressure to actually live up to that expectation also. So, baliktad naman ako when I was younger. I always shortchanged myself. Which is, I feel, that's why ngayon binaliktad ko. When I'm negotiating, I'm always like, okay, what can I give to you more than yung expected mo na sobrang-sobra pa. Like, gagapangin ko yan. Ganyan naman ako. Which I feel like was a detriment also. Because once you feel like you're less than what you're worth, people will naturally, whether intentional or not, take advantage of it.
But I think that is more the common mindset that people have. Shortchanging themselves or feeling like they don't deserve certain things. I think
Yes.
that's the more common thing.
I think especially sa Pilipinas.
Yeah,
Diba
I
kasi
remember
po-
growing
yeah.
up, even, something as silly as having crushes. Diba? Parang usually isipin natin na, ang gwapo-gwapo niya, pero, he'll never go for someone like me.
Yung
Or,
mga ganyan.
this is my dream job, but, I'm too ganito, I'm too ganyan. I don't
Yes.
deserve it. Or, even to the point na detrimental na siya, like, it's affecting our relationships. Like, for example, I want to be like this successful person, but she only got it because she's privileged.
Yes.
Alam mo yun, like there's always a reason for our self-worth or finding our self-worth. Like, alam mo yun, like defining our self-worth. Pag hindi siya umabot sa level na gusto natin, our excuse is,
Yes.
kasi ganito siya, ganyan siya. Ako ganito ako. To justify that. Para hindi masakit sa pride natin.
Ang sa akin, what really sunk into me is I developed this theory after like all these experiences na walang magician sa buhay. Like for example, if you see someone that is super successful or that is super confident or it didn't come about by magic. Which sometimes pag nakikita natin, parang iniisip natin, there must be something special about this that
Yes.
made him be this certain
successful,
way.
yeah.
A lot of the things, and this is my learning from reading all these biographies of successful people, is they actually did something somewhere that changed them for the better, but they did it in the most human way possible. Yeah, they have their own talents, which you can also develop, but parang yung journey na
Dinaanan
yun,
nila.
may proper road na dinaanan sila. Like for example, isa sa idol ko and I was reading his biography, Steve Jobs. Ang dami niyang mentors na dinaanan. Ang dami din yung mga failures.
Passionate ka masyado.
Yung laway ko.
Nakain ko eh.
Oo. Yun, passion talaga. Ang dami niyang pinagdaanan ng mga mentors and ang dami niyang mga pinagdaanan na failure. So, yung nakikita natin is the success of...
Exactly.
Kasi yun yung headline eh. Yun yung magandang pag-usapan when it comes to news, when it comes to the magazines, when it comes to telling the story.
Yeah, because nobody ever talks about, okay, Slater had this attempt on a business, it failed. He went a second attempt on this business, this happened. The headline is always, hey, look at this. He made it happen. If you guys want to hear the full episode, you can.
Check us out on Spotify.
Spotify.